First of all, welcome, and thank you all for coming out tonight. My name is Bob Crowley.
Teresa Crowley.
We are volunteers with the American Red Cross. You probably know of the American Red Cross through blood donations. A lot of people donate blood, and we really appreciate that. It's a huge organization. We are a 95% volunteer workforce, which, when I learned that, I was like, that's incredible, right? And we rely on donations, mostly donations. We do get some income from blood services, but it's mostly donations. We don't take any government or state money. So when you think about that, that's pretty amazing. The Red Cross responds to about 65,000 disasters a year. So we're on some type of a disaster about every 8 minutes nationally. Here in Massachusetts, the majority of the disasters that we deal with are multifamily, single-family home fires. We are part of the Red Cross called Disaster Cycle Services. We respond to local disasters, home fires and that type of thing, tornadoes, floods, and we also respond to national disasters as well. We also have a branch of the Red Cross that is service to the military, and when I first volunteered, I didn't realize that. For example, when a service member has a family emergency and they need to have leave to attend to that emergency, they would contact the Red Cross and we would facilitate that leave between the service member and the armed forces. So that's how it happens. And if you think about our origins, Clara Barton started the Red Cross back in the Civil War, so we have always had that connection with the military. The other thing that we do is training and education. Disaster Cycle Services does preparedness education. We do hands only. We talked about that class. The other side of the house that does training and education does the full certification training. So first aid, CPR, lifeguards, babysitter. There's a whole big list of trainings. And I would encourage you to check those out if you're interested in those trainings because they're very good trainings. And all the information about possibly volunteering, because we're always looking for volunteers, and that training information is on the Red Cross website, redcross.org. Tonight we're going to talk about preparedness, emergency preparedness. We're going to talk generally about preparedness. There are a number of topics that we could plug into that conversation. We're going to focus tonight on home fires because that's what we do. We do a lot of home fires. But having said that, it is hurricane season. Thankfully, it's been a pretty calm hurricane season. We haven't had to deal with that. We do occasionally get things like tornadoes, and so a lot of stuff does happen in Massachusetts. So any questions before I start? No? Okay. I'll show you a short video here.
How prepared are you? From fast-moving wildfires to slow-moving hurricanes, crippling winter weather to dangerous heat waves. From powerful tornadoes to devastating earthquakes, record flooding, destructive home fires, and many more unexpected hazards. Hazards are inevitable, but with the right kind of preparation, you can lessen their impact and make a difference. How prepared are you to protect what matters most? Most people say they're not prepared, but that they want to be. And others have started to prepare, but don't know what steps to take next. That's why we created the Be Red Cross Ready program. We'll provide the instruction, information, and experiences you need to be prepared to protect what you care about most. Gain knowledge and skills from Be Red Cross Ready preparedness experts in real time. We'll show you what hazards affect your community and tell you what you can do before, during, and after a disaster occurs so that you are ready to take action, and we'll practice ways to stay safe. Just by being here, you've taken the first step, because when you are prepared, you can protect what's most important to you. Prepare so you can protect yourself, your family, your community. Be Red Cross Ready. Prepare so you can protect.
All right, Teresa's going to give you some handouts that have some great information on them. The entertaining thing about that video is the person under the table. Remember duck and cover drills? Remember in school, we're all going to save ourselves from the atomic bomb by ducking under our desks, which is probably not that effective. So you're getting 3 handouts. Whoop, no, come on. You're getting 3 handouts. The first one is Preparedness Essentials, and we're just going to talk about all these topics. The second one is going to focus on home fires, and then we have a home fire safety checklist as well. So we mentioned we do a lot of home fires. I mean, that's the bulk of our work with the Red Cross locally. And if we look at the possible emergencies that we could have, I think we can probably rule out volcano. I think we can get rid of that. We do get some pretty big thunderstorms, and we're seeing a lot of weather events, especially rain events that are just large, and they just don't move very quick, right? So we're getting a lot of flooding, much more flooding than we have in the past. Tsunami, probably not either. We won't touch on that. We do actually have a lot of tornadoes in Massachusetts. It's a very busy tornado area. They're all small, little, tiny tornadoes that kind of touch down. It's not like the Midwest where it wipes out, whole towns. We've had an earthquake recently, tiny little earthquake. So we do have these things. But like I said, we're going to focus on home fire. But the other big one coming up that we're all going to want to think about is winter weather. And it's not like, at least in my experience, the winter weather that we get now is not like what we had when we were a kid. It's not 3 feet of light, fluffy snow. It's these events that are wet and a lot of ice, and that's pretty problematic when it comes to, power situations. We lose a lot of power in those situations, so that's something I'm going to think about as well. But tonight we're going to talk about home fire. But generally, to get ready for any of these events, there are 3 steps that we're going to focus on. And the first one's called, we're going to get a kit. And it's basically a kit of supplies that you would either have as, let's say, a go bag that you might take with you or have in your car, or a kit of items that would be in your house that you would have ready for some type of an event. So there are going to be 2 different kits, obviously. For your house, we're going to think about things like water, right? We had an event, it was February, I think it was, yeah. We had a snow event up in Charlemont, big wind event. There was a bunch of snow. It wasn't tons of snow, but it was very windy. Blew down 20 or 30 telephone poles near a substation up in Charlemont. And they were out of power for 3 days up there this last winter. We opened up a shelter, a warming shelter that turned into an overnight shelter. But a lot of those people were on wells, and there was no power, so now you have no water. So you want to think about water, food, medication. And when I say food, you might not have power in your house, so you're going to think about food that you don't have to prepare, right? Pre-prepared items that'll keep for a long time. And we encourage people to get put that kit together. We want to have about 2 to 3 days minimum of supplies for all the people in your family. And you kind of want, stash that away in the back of the cupboard there. You have your canned tuna and that kind of thing, your bottled water, and you're ready to go. The other thing to think about in that situation is, medications and anything you might need for that as well. But, pardon? Oh, yeah, pets too. If you have pets, some pets have special needs. I mean, we had a dog that was on more drugs than we were on, so it was expensive. But anyways, the portable kit, a go bag, it can be complicated, but it can be pretty simple. I'm just going to go through this one. Usually I like to carry this in my car, and it has a bunch of supplies that would help me in a number of situations, not necessarily a full-blown emergency, but a flat tire, right? That's kind of an emergency. So I have a safety vest. I keep that in there because it's, you're by the side of the road. People are so distracted nowadays. Maybe this will save your life, it'll at least make you visible. A raincoat, because it's pouring rain and you have to change the tire. And where's the raincoat? It's at home, hanging up in the closet, and we didn't bring it with us. So those 2 things are pretty straightforward. Let's see what else we got in the magic bag. I have a small first aid kit. This is just an off-the-shelf, buy it at CVS kind of first aid kit. Just keep it in the car. Bandages, just basic stuff in there, Neosporin, that kind of stuff. I have some gloves, some neoprene gloves. if you're going to do first aid on somebody, you may see an accident on the side of the road and pull over and try to help those people. You want gloves. You may be changing that tire. You want gloves, okay? Nice to have. I have a pair of, these are called trauma shears. They cost like $3, $4. And basically they cut anything. They're super sharp and you can't stab yourself with them. So they're super handy to have if you have to do first aid on somebody. A little bit of money. Yeah, that's problematic now. We used to say, oh, put some spare change aside, some money aside, so if the power's out, you can go buy things. Well, if the power's out, you can't go buy things anymore, right? We used to be able to go to the store and buy stuff. Some stores you can. I have a map of the area because my phone might not work. And I have this little device here. It's a little baby inverter. You plug it into your cigarette lighter. And what it does, it gives you a couple of USB ports, and it also gives you a 110 port. So you can't really like run a coffee pot off this thing. But if you're somebody like myself who wears hearing aids, or you need to charge something that you plug into the wall and it's not a USB, this will turn it into 110. So you could plug this into your car and have a 110. You can pass it around. You can have 110.
What's that called?
It's called an inverter.
Inverter.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I think I paid like $20 for it. So it's very handy to have. Like I said, if you lose power, your car can turn into a power source at that point. But you're not going to run anything big off of that.
No, I smashed my knee.
No, no emergency.
Oh, thank you.
You okay? We don't want any first aid. You all right?
Little ice pack, maybe.
I can. Well, I didn't bring an ice pack, but
See, that's a good thing. Hopefully it's
next
snowing
presentation
and
we'll bring an ice
you
pack.
can use it.
I have a space blanket, super handy to have. I can attest that they work. They fractured my ankle in Quabbin last November and had ended up under a space blanket till they pulled me out of there. It was great to have. I have a spare USB cord for my phone. Pretty straightforward. I have some water. You can put some bottled water. Thank you very much. In your pack. Keep it in your car. I have a small kit that's kind of personal stuff. Like if you have medications, you want a little bit of that in there. I have some toothpaste because we had to evacuate and go to the shelter, and we want to be able to brush our teeth. I have my little toothbrush. I have some hand sanitizer, and I have finally some dental floss. Just a little kit.
Do you have a list of this?
Yes, actually it's on the web. If you go to redcross.org.
Yeah, they have an extensive list.
It's a pretty extensive list. Like I said, they can get,
Gather emergency supplies.
yeah, it can get complicated, but it can be pretty, this is pretty simple stuff.
And a little snack bar.
Yeah, I have the all-important flashlight, which, a headlight or something like that, to have a flashlight, because you're always going to be looking for a flashlight and the batteries aren't charged half the time, so that's important. And I have this little power brick, and basically it's, you could charge your phone for about 3 days off of one of these. Just a little power bank, and it's got a little built-in, it comes on, come on, little flashlight. Yeah, but we've got 3 days, a couple, phone charges off of that, no problem. So that's it. So that's, kind of a basic go kit. Like I said, keep it in your car. Did I have, oh yeah, I got snacks too. I got some Kind bars, a little tiny bit of food in case you get hungry. What am I missing? What would you put in there? Is there anything you would add? No? No?
I
Nothing?
think a blanket.
A blanket would be
A
good.
real blanket, yes.
A real
Yes.
blanket in the car, yeah,
Yeah.
especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Anything else that you think of? I'm always looking for suggestions, because I need a bigger pack now. I'm going to put that blanket in there. So that's basically your kit. And like I said, it's going to be different for your house. It's going to be a different set of supplies that you're going to kind of stash aside. If you live in an area with a well, you want to think about water. You might not have heat in your house. The other thing to think about is people with special needs. If people that live with you have special needs, you want to think about that as well. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is making a plan. And we're going to talk about, the plan is going to be specific for various disasters. So tonight we're talking about home fires and home fire safety as a disaster topic. How long do you think you have to get out of a house if you hear that smoke alarm go off? Give me a guess.
Maybe a minute.
Close, close. 2 minutes. That's what we advise people. You have about 2 minutes to get out of a house. It used to be we would tell people you had about 3 to 5 minutes, but the amount of material that we have in new houses is so flammable. And it's not the fire that's going to kill you. It's the smoke that's going to kill you because it is so toxic. So you have about 2 minutes to get out of the house. We started, when we started volunteering with the Red Cross, we went to home fires, and one of the responders, she's been with the Red Cross a long time, she says, I always keep my purse and my car keys next to my bed at night. So when you wake up and you have 2 minutes to get out of the house, you at least have your wallet and your car keys. Because we've gone to fires where people run out of the house in their pajamas with no shoes on, and their wallet and everything else is inside the house. And that makes life super complicated when that happens. So think about that. If you take that home tonight, that's a great step to be prepared. Wallet and car keys side the bed, and a pair of shoes so you can go running out. Yes?
Could you put it in a bag or like this?
A little, yeah, you could add, a little go bag. Yeah,
Just bring out
perfect.
your nightstand, yeah?
Grab and go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
grab and
perfect.
go. I have my little purse, yep.
Yep, just grab and go with it, yeah. So that's going to be part of our planning. We're going to think about what kind of disasters we might encounter, and that depends where you live, right? If you live in an area, if you live near a river, you might have flooding there. You're going to think about that. How am I going to know that there's flooding, number one, and what am I going to do when that happens? Because you're not going to have a lot of time to get out of the house either. You're going to think about your household members, like we said. Some people have special needs, or when I broke my ankle hopping around on crutches, I'm like, oh my God, the house catches fire. I am toast, right? Literally toast, because I'm going to be like trying to get out of the house. It would have been really difficult to deal with that.
I drag you on a blankie.
She would drag me out, yeah. Yeah,
Just put them on a blankie and drag her.
yeah. So we're going to think about how we're going to get out. And this is really more applicable. Say you live in Florida or someplace like that, there's evacuation routes, right, for people that live in hurricane-prone areas. Like, how are you going to get out of here? What road are you going to take? And where are you going to go? That's important too. Where are you going to meet? How are you going to communicate to people? Because say you're down in Florida and there was a hurricane and you had to evacuate. Now your family's all worried about you. You want to think about a point of contact, like one person that you can call that can do that kind of telephone tree thing and relay the messages to everybody else. So you don't have to call everybody in your entire contact list to let them know that, hey, I'm okay, we just had to evacuate. Important records. So, like I said, we have our wallet and we have our keys, so we have our driver's license with us. Birth certificates, passports, you may want to take a picture of those and keep them on your phone or photocopy them, or stick them in a safety deposit box or something like that. Because if you lose those kind of things, it's really hard to replace them. Where will you stay? In an emergency, there is an app called, there's a Red Cross app. That's the Red Cross Emergency app that you can download from our website. And it's just called basically Emergency, Red Cross Emergency. And that app, what that does is when you power it up, it's going to know your location, and it's going to know the kind of things that are actually going on. All right, you just get this off the App Store. And so if there was a tornado warning, this app is going to be like, beep, beep, beep. Hey, there's an active tornado warning in Northampton, Massachusetts. It's going to alert you, okay? And if something actually does happen and we were to open a shelter, it would have the location of the Red Cross shelter in that app.
So
Yes.
That's a Red Cross app.
That's a Red Cross app. You just go on the App Store, and it's called Emergency. Just look for Red Cross Emergency app, and that'll come right up. So that tells you all the alerts. It has a map to show you when things are happening, and it tells you importantly where the shelters are and where you can go for help. And so you're traveling across the country and you're in Kansas. It's going to tell you that there's a tornado coming. It's going to tell you where the shelter is. So it's easy, right? We've driven across country a number of times and you get the beep, beep, beep on your phone. Tornado in Broward County. It's like, I have no idea what county I'm in, right? So this would help you out by giving you the location that you're actually in and where you're going to go to be safe. So that's important. And sometimes we're going to actually shelter in place in case of a winter storm. We're probably going to stay right where we are. So we're going to plan for that. Any questions?
Is it the Red Cross or the Red Cross Emergency?
It's Red Cross Emergency. It should look like, yeah, I can't pass that. You should have it. It's on the App Store. Yeah, it's just it looks like a little exclamation point. You can see it? It's that little app right there, see?
Exclamation.
Yeah.
Is that the same one for the AEDs
I don't think that does AD. No, that,
Okay.
this is just for like emergencies, to be prepared for emergencies. So
There's another one, First Aid American Red Cross.
yeah,
Maybe that's
that's going to do, the first aid one's going to do, what is it?
Red Cross.
Red Cross? You got Mickey Mouse on your shirt. Very nice. Yeah, so that's a great app. The first aid one is fantastic too, but what we're talking about tonight, we're going to do that. Teresa handed out in the paperwork you have a couple of sheets there that have emergency contact information. And what that is important numbers basically. So you can kind of cut those out and fold them up and stick them in the wall. I apologize for not printing them double-sided. But yeah, but when something's happening and it's an emergency and the adrenaline's running, to have these contacts written down and have them readily available is very important, especially when your phone went dead, right, or something like that. So that's super helpful. How will you be informed? Well, you'll have the Red Cross app, so that's going to help a lot. Usually, if there's an emergency, the emergency broadcast information is going to be on the radio. I know the radio, right? How quaint, right? Most kids would be like, what are you talking about, right? We stream everything. But it's going to be on the radio. You can have, some people still have radios in their houses. We still have a radio. But, obviously your car has a radio, so you can go to your car and get that information. Know your neighbors. That's kind of important too, because, some of us have neighbors who, have special needs, and some of them are elderly neighbors, and we might want to help them out and understand what's going on with them. And we see that a lot in winter storms, We're always like helping snow blow the neighbor's driveway or something like that. So get to know your neighbors. Any questions as I go along here?
Yes. A couple times there was like alerts for like Springfield or something. For example, where they couldn't drink the water or something.
Oh, boiled water, yeah.
Yeah. Or like at the power outage, like because there was a crash because of flooding.
Yeah.
How do we get those alerts?
On that Red Cross, that Red Cross app's going to alert you to all that. So in each town, there's an emergency management office in each town. So we have,
I seen it. Oh,
yeah. So in Springfield is an emergency management office, and they're coordinating with us all the time, right? So that's how that gets up in that Red Cross app. And there's also MEMA, which is the equivalent of FEMA. This is Massachusetts Emergency Management Association. And so they're coordinating with us also. So all that information will get put into that Red Cross app. Any other questions? Okay. So we have our kit, we have our disaster plan, and down the bottom, make sure one of our members of our house is trained in first aid or CPR. And like I said, you can find those classes on redcross.org. Or you can come to the library and take a hands-only CPR class the next time we do it. And here's the Red Cross app that we just talked about. So now I'm going to jump on to home fires. So home fires, we get a lot of fires. We respond to a lot of things. Cooking is the big hit on home fires. A lot of fires start in the kitchen. People put something on the stove, walk away from it, Don't pay attention. Next thing you know, that pan on the stove is on fire, and we have a bunch of oil all over the place. Heating, home heating is a problem too, especially people have wood stoves and that kind of thing. And finally, smoking. I mean, that's pretty, straightforward. Let's not smoke in bed. Hopefully none of you do that, but not smoking in bed. So, like I said, the big one is really cooking that we see. And we're seeing a lot more fires caused by electronics. People plugging all kinds of stuff into extension cords in the back of the TV and causing problems. So, keep an eye on what you fry. So, we have a pan on the stove, and it's on fire. What are we going to do? Yes?
Smother it with a lid.
Put the lid on it would be perfect, yes?
Baking soda.
Baking soda would work too, yeah?
Flour? No.
What is it? Not flour, no, no.
I know it's not flour.
No, it's not flour. Do we have a fire extinguisher? Do we know how to use the fire extinguisher? No. So, yeah, people are like, well, I got a fire extinguisher, I'll just go put it out. If you've never used a fire extinguisher before in your life, that's going to be a pretty heavy lift, especially when the cabinets are now on fire, okay? My advice is get the heck out of the kitchen and call 911. That would be my advice. If you can put a lid on it if it's a small fire, do that. I get questions about fire blankets. People are like, oh, we got these fire blankets. Well, I got a pan that's on fire. I'm going to throw this fire blanket on top of it. It might work, and it might spread the oil all over the place, and now I get the whole kitchen on fire. So get the heck out of there. Get out of there. Call 911. Where do you put the fire extinguisher? Where are your fire extinguishers?
Kitchen, I put mine under my sink.
Kitchen.
In the kitchen, but where? I'll
Oh.
give you a hint. By the door. If you have a fire extinguisher, you notice in commercial, there's a fire extinguisher right outside this door. By the door. That's where you want fire extinguishers. We don't want it near the source, okay? We don't want, well, if the stove's on fire, we don't want to have to go over here and try to get the fire extinguisher to try to put out the fire. We want to get out and have to maybe use the fire extinguisher, to help us to get out. So put the fire extinguisher by the door, not near the thing that's going to catch on fire. Never leave anything burning unattended. Well, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Electrical fires, especially big appliances. We have an air fryer, and we were making French fries. Like, okay. So we said, well, we were making 3 batches of French fries in this air fryer. First one was okay. Second one was fine. Third one was fine. I go to unplug the air fryer and felt that cord. That thing was hot. Okay? So appliances do get hot. And they make appliances so cheap nowadays. If you look at, the typical air fryer, it draws like 15 amps, which is about as much as one of these circuits can take. And the cord is like tiny, thin little cord, right? They cheap out on this tiny, thin little cord, which is really problematic, okay? So, when you're running those things like an air fryer or a toaster oven, just kind of feel that cord and see if it's super hot. You may want to get a new one or toss that one out the window if it is super hot. They are really a fire hazard. Avoid overloading outlets. Don't have an electrical appliance over here and a plug over there and run the cord under the rug to get to the, we see it, right? Run it under the rug to get to the plug. People do that, right? And now you walk on the cord and damage the cord, right? And then you wonder why it catches on fire. The other thing I see is extension cords that people use for power tools. And some of them are pretty thin extension cords. And it depends on the size of the tool. It takes a lot of current. People will wrap them up around their arm, and they'll wrap them in the same direction all the time. And what happens when you wrap it in the same direction all the time, the wire starts to twist, and it damages the wire, okay? So there are things that you can, you're supposed to wrap one direction, and you're supposed to alternate the wraps. But get a big enough extension cord to run that piece of power equipment that you're going to run. And just inspect the cord. You can see it. It looks kind of like twisty and wrinkly if it gets damaged.
Because those things that you wind up the extension cords on are almost impossible.
They are almost impossible. They do make
Burning that.
They do make the things that you kind of crank, and it cranks the thing in there, right? And it's got like a plug here, you know, and then you pull the extension cord out and you do that kind of thing. If you have one of those and you're running some type of appliance on it, make sure that you pull the extension cord all the way out, because when we take a coil of wire and we wrap it up, we have a coil. And the function of a coil is to reduce current flow. That's what electrically, that's what a coil does, right? So by reducing the electric flow, by being wrapped up and we're trying to draw all this current, we're risking catching that thing on fire. Any other questions on electrical? Smoke alarms. How many people have smoke alarms? Hardwired or battery? Both? Yep. The hardwired ones should have a battery in them as a backup. Okay. Like I said, smoke alarms are good for 10 years. Either type of smoke alarm. If you take the smoke alarm, take it off the ceiling, look inside, there's going to be a manufactured date inside that smoke alarm. If it's 10 years old, throw it away. The Red Cross has a program called Sound the Alarm. If you know someone that they do not have smoke alarms in their house, maybe they can't afford it, maybe they just haven't got around to doing it, if you call the Red Cross, we will come put smoke alarms in your house for free. Okay? We won't touch the hardwired smoke alarms. If you have hardwired smoke alarms that are not working and they're damaged, we will come put battery smoke alarms that you can use until those get repaired. Okay? So we will do that for free for people. You can call the Red Cross. Just Google Red Cross Smoke Alarm Program.
Even the hardwire ones should replace that?
Yes, all of them are 10 years. That's as long as they're good for it. You want an electrician to deal with that. Yeah.
Which is better, the battery or the hardware? I don't have a hardware.
Yeah, we had just battery ones.
They both work. I mean, one doesn't perform better than the other. I think code in Massachusetts in any new construction is hardwired. That's what they do. Yeah. So when they build a new house, they're going to put.
The number for the
Yeah.
Sunday alarm?
Oh, yeah. So sound the alarm in Massachusetts. The number is 1-800-564-1234.
For what? For
Free smoke alarms.
even the fire department, I think here.
Yeah,
We partner with them. So that's 1-800-564-1234. And you can tell them I want to be part of the smoke alarm program. And what'll happen is we'll either come out or we'll come out with the fire department. And part of that visit is we will walk through the house. We'll recommend where the smoke alarms should be located. And we'll also do 4 smoke alarms used typically and 1 carbon monoxide detector as well. So while we're walking through the house and installing smoke alarms, one of the volunteers will be sitting down with a member of the family and talking about fire escape plans and fire education and preparedness. So it's a great program. It's 1-800-1234. Yeah. Super important. So you want smoke alarms. You want them on every floor, basically. Yes.
I just had a quick question about the sound alarm program.
Yep.
Is that something that you can purchase? I know you were saying it's nice for people who can't afford to have it done.
Yep.
Except, is it something that a person could call and request and pay for it?
We do not charge for it. We don't ask questions about, well, how much money do you make? It's totally free.
Yeah.
Totally free.
Yeah.
Totally free.
It's just we want to have less fires to go to.
We want to save lives. I think
Yeah,
they documented something like 2,500 lives saved through this program, and nationally, not just in Massachusetts. And when they say documented, what they mean is they went to this house, we put in smoke alarms, there was a fire, and now we can say people got out of the house because we put smoke alarms in there. So it's a great program, and we don't ask questions. It's not income based or anything like that. And the fire department is super happy to do this with us because they would rather show up and help you do that than show up and try to drag you out. If you have a smoke alarm that's problematic, say the thing's beeping and it needs a new battery and it's up there, it's on a ladder and you can't get to it, call the fire department. not on 911, but call their business line. They will come out and help you replace those batteries in that smoke alarm. They are super happy to do that kind of work because, like I said, they would rather come out and help you do that than have to respond to an actual fire. So, we hear the smoke alarms going off in the middle of the night. What are we going to do? Well, the first thing we're going to do is look for smoke. The bedroom door is closed. Do I see smoke coming from the bottom of the door? Not a good sign, actually, right? Not a good sign. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to feel the door and see if the door is hot, all right? Because there could be a fire in the hallway, and the last thing I want to do is open my bedroom door and walk into that fire, okay? So we're going to look for smoke. We're going to feel the door. If the door is hot, we're not going to open that door. We're going to try to get out of that room some other way, out through a window or something like that. Let's say we have a situation where we can't evacuate out of that room. We're on a 4th floor. There's only one door out into the hallway. The hallway's on fire. We're going to seal the door. So we're going to take clothing and stuff it under the door. If there are air vents, you have forced hard air furnace, radiators on the floor, stick something over that. Call 911, open the window and say, help, help, help. Hopefully you have another way out of that room. But that's what you're going to do if you can't get out of that room. Questions? No. I know it's a lot of information.
I have a question.
Sure.
If I plan to have a hardwired alarm, I think it must be so expensive, right? You have to hire an electrician and then...
You do have to hire an electrician, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much it costs, but yeah, you need to deal with an electrician. Battery-powered smokes are fine. The new battery-powered smoke alarms that you buy, they're good for 10 years. You don't have to change the battery. Not like the old ones where you had to change the battery.
Right, some even have like a combination of smoke
And carbon monoxide. Yeah, yeah.
You just have to test them every,
Yeah, we tell people when you change the clocks, go press the button on the smoke alarm, see if it goes off. So twice a year you get to press the button and see if the smoke alarm goes off. They'll start to beep, especially the 10-year ones, all of them. Even the regular, you put the 9-volt battery in, you hear this beep in the middle of the night. You're like, what the heck? You can go, oh, I'm almost asleep. Beep. There's this little beeping thing going off. So once a year, just swap the batteries out. And what I do if I have the old-fashioned smoke alarm and it has a 9-volt battery in there, I take a Sharpie and I write 25 on there. So I know that, oh yeah, I changed it. I just changed it this year, so I don't have to pay attention to that one. Yeah.
So you really don't need to really worry about hardwiring it until, like, say you're gonna sell your house.
Yeah.
And then that would be a law, Massachusetts would then say, oh, you have to get updated?
New construction, I don't know about existing construction home sales. I don't know if that's code. But certainly when you were going to sell a house, the realtor would know if that's the case and they would hardwire.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah. So find a safe escape route, pretty obvious, right? Obviously. If there's smoke, go low. So we're going to crawl out of this situation on our hands and knees, basically, because smoke is it's hot air. The smoke's going to ride up in a higher layer. So by getting down low and crawling down out of this situation, we're going to stay out of the smoke. Like we said, the smoke is the thing that's super dangerous, all right? So think about this. Your smoke alarms are going off. You got 2 minutes to get out of the house. You tested the door, it's okay. We're going to open the door and we're going to crawl out of the house. And we're probably not going to have time to turn the light switches on. Are our hallways free of crap? Do we have stuff in the hallways, right? Because if you're trying to get the heck out of this house and your hallway is full of stuff, it's going to be a big problem. So you want to make sure there's not stuff in the hallways. And I know that's difficult to do. We all have a lot of stuff and we like to, so clear those hallways out.
And stairwells.
And stairwells, yeah.
You're upstairs.
Yeah, and no, none of the shoes on the stairwells kind of thing. Keep the escape routes clear. Meet at a designated place. So part of our planning for home fires, we're going to talk about this, we're going to have a plan for home fires. We're going to have an escape route. We're going to understand where we're going to go. And we're all going to know a designated meeting place. Because the house is on fire and half of us ran out the front door, half of us ran out the back door. The fire department shows up in the front of the house. You're standing there. I don't know where Johnny is. I don't know where Mary is. The firemen are rushing in the house because they think somebody's in the house. So if we all have a designated meeting place, we can say, 1, 2, 3, everybody's here. And you probably see that places of employment have that, right? They have designated meeting places so you know that everybody's in the house. I know it's hard and I know it's difficult. We all have pets and we love pets like our family. Don't go rushing in to try to save the dog or the cat. We've had people do that and it doesn't turn out well. A lot of times the animal will find a way out of the house and, happy ending. Sometimes it doesn't work, but it's better than you going in there and trying to rescue the dog or the cat. We would like 2 exits from every room. Like I said, that's not always practical. It doesn't always happen, but you need to think about it. Windows work, you can get out a window sometimes. We want to make sure that our escape routes are clear, that we can get down through these areas and there's nothing blocking it. They do sell these escape ladder things that you kind of throw out the window. Haven't personally used one or installed one. The fire department would be the people to ask about this, right? And if you called them up and said, I'm a little concerned here, could you come over and give me some advice about possible escape routes and I want to put one of these ladder things, they'll come over and give you that advice. And it's great to know, right? And once again, can't say it enough, clean the junk out. Super important, easy to do. Safe meeting place, usually in front of the house. But having said that, probably across the street at your neighbor's house because there's going to be a lot of fire apparatus coming up in front of your house. And once everyone is out, call 911. We've been to a lot of fires, and a lot of times, the neighbors will see the fire before the people in the house will see the fire, and they're already calling 911. But call 911. Make sure it works for everybody. Some people, like I said, when I was on crutches, I don't know what we were going to do. But they're talking about delegating people to assist. So you have a small child, who's going to help that small child out of the, they might not even wake up, right? Because they'll sleep through anything, right? So who's going to help that small child wake them up and help them get out? And practice with your animals if you have animals. Practice at least once a year. So what we want to do is actually, draw a little schematic of your house, basically, right? Bedroom, 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 hallway, hallway, hallway. And sit down with everybody and say, how are we going to get out of this house? Let's draw it out. Let's draw out how we're going to get out of this house. And let's practice this. Let's actually practice getting out of this house so we know where to go. And it's especially important, for kids. It develops that muscle memory so everybody is on the same page. And we all understand where we're going to go and what we're going to do. We talked about prepare for children, talk about fires, talk about what a smoke alarm is because they're not going to know what's going on. They're just going to hear this thing beep and they don't understand that it's actually a smoke alarm. Show them the safe meeting place and actually teach them how to call 911. We did a CPR program up in, what was that? Irving. And it was a young, he was like 7 or 8.
4 or 5.
4. It was a farm, they were working on the farm. The grandfather collapsed in the field, cardiac issue. He called 911. He's like 4 years old. Saved his grandfather's life because he knew I should call 911. So make your escape plan, test your smoke alarms, and practice, practice, practice. And that's all I have for home fire. So questions? Yes?
So since you've been helping a lot with the fires in the area, I want to know what kind of fires are those usually the type of fire you have happening in the area?
Cooking.
Cooking is the number one, kitchen.
Kitchen fires.
They say if you're cooking on the stove and the doorbell rings and you're gonna leave the stove, grab at least a spoon or something. So
Or the
you remember,
spatula.
or a spatula or something. You go to the door, then someone says, why are you holding that? It's like, oh,
Oh, because I got something cooking on the
Yeah,
stove.
to remind
Or
you.
turn it off and go, Or, you got a distraction you got to deal with, right?
Yeah. Or
Turn it off.
Especially, like his dad's older and, they lost his partner and so a tea kettle, he'd forget it on the stove. So got an electric one. It shuts off as soon as it boils.
Automatic shut off.
It's well worth, they're not that expensive.
Yeah,
They're just-
elderly people.
We have one too. It's just, so you go off, you put the tea kettle on and,
It works, right? Yeah, yeah. So mostly we see a lot of that. We're seeing a lot of electrical fires too, though. Like I said, a lot of people plugging in tons of stuff into an extension cord and charging all these types of electronics, and they just
too
overload,
much
just
stuff.
overload it. Yeah, it just gets too hot. And you
more
know,
batteries,
yeah.
stop charging.
yeah, phones contain lithium batteries, and they can be problematic. You know, we've had a fire in Springfield. Was that Springfield with
An
a
elaborate, I think, or whatever. It was up that-
somebody's e-bike on the front porch caught fire? The battery, charging the battery.
Heard about it, the
Yeah.
lithium, those lithium batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the power
charge it.
tools, all the power
They
tools.
left-
Yeah.
They get hot.
Left it charged at night, and then there was a fire.
Yeah.
Electric bikes.
Electric bikes. So if you have, like I have, you know, portable drills, you know, you use these portable things, and maybe you got them all plugged in the garage, all these batteries nice and lined up, all charged. Once they're charged, just unplug this thing from the wall. They don't have to stay on the charger. Once it says blink, it turns green, just unplug it. It's actually good for the battery, and you won't have this possible fire from a lithium battery sitting there in this charger, because as they age, they get problematic. Other questions? Yes.
Regarding any type of batteries, including the lithium, when they are expired and aren't working anymore, what's the best way to dispose of them?
You can, Home Depot and Lowe's used to take all those batteries. I know that in Irving, the library has a program that they recycle all those batteries. So,
The town takes some of them, but not all of them.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's gonna depend on the locality, yeah.
We're talking about the little guys. How about
The little guys, you can just throw in the trash.
Trash,
That's
yeah,
fine.
it's the lithium.
It's the lithium stuff that
Oh,
you
that's the
wanna use.
lithium.
It's the
Also,
lithium,
like the 9 volts and the double A's, you can put.
They
in
said it's,
trash.
they said it's okay to put them in the
Yeah,
trash
put it in the
can.
trash.
I can-
You got a lot of energy.
Yeah, no, you can put them in the trash.
You
We
never
used to
know.
have, we used to collect them, and then the health department was like, no, those just go in the trash.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were worried about it.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
worried about it.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
What about candle fires?
Don't use candles.
How about candles?
You
Yes.
have you like candles? Well, they're dangerous. We
Yeah.
don't like them. We see teenagers, yeah, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Candles and incense. Incense. Yeah, well, you know,
Crossfire.
yeah, of course, so you got that little glowing amber there, yeah. So we don't want to do that. So no candles. You can use the, like, you know, they have make the little LED candles. They're
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, yeah, we got, my sister
They
bought us one.
look, they look just like candles. Yeah.
The
Yeah, so
jar-
don't use candles. They're dangerous.
Yeah, come here,
What?
sit, how about come in,
You wanna go how about,
Come in,
you go
Hillary.
draw me a picture? Can you go draw me a picture? Thank you.
Come draw a picture, come on.
Any other questions? Coming up on
Sorry, any other questions?
Are we good?
Thank you.
We good? Okay. Draw me a picture.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.